Hey there guys, welcome back to Hursty Games and welcome back to our QPR Career Mode. If you're not all caught up with the series, go check out the playlist, get yourself caught up, and then of course welcome to today's episode. Today, doing the usual, powering on with this season. We're starting today's episode off with a cup game against Leeds. So that is going to be a very interesting game because in the last episode we did up the difficulty to Ultimate. We are now playing on Ultimate difficulty, and that is because things were going pretty much relatively comfortably in our way. We're on, I think, it's a 5-game winning streak with 3-0 and then 3-3-1 victories. And I just thought, to keep levels of realism, I don't want to go in and win every single game relatively comfortably because, you know, we're a team that's just got promoted into the Premier League. It's going to be difficult. So us going and winning 5 games in a row, there is levels of non-realism to that. And I want to make it difficult. I want it to be a challenge and I want it to be enjoyable. So that is what we are aiming and striving towards. Our next game being a cup game does mean we have quite a heavily rotated squad, but then hopefully a lot of our first team will be nice, fit, fighting ready for the game against Wolves. So unless anything happens beforehand, I will see you guys at Ellen Road. Okay, so here is our lineup for the Leeds game. Mahoney, Larketch, Cashin, Dunn and Ozzy along the back. Dazelle and Pedder in the central midfield. Richards and Paul Smith out on the wings. And then Lyndon Dykes and Randall, the scorer of the brace in our last cup game, up top. So obviously heavy rotation, a full 11 players rotating out. And again, this is all just because I want to rotate these players in and out. We are mainly focusing on trying to stay in the Premier League, but it does give these guys a bit of a chance. Like I said, obviously I want to win every single game that we can, but the cup is not my priority. My priority is very heavily staying in the Premier League, which we're doing pretty well right now. And I can hand on heart promise you guys, the starting 11, if we made it all the way to the final, would stick with the rotated squad. Obviously, we'd have good players on the bench. We have good players on the bench and our starting sort of players on the bench now. But I can hand on heart promise you, if we did make it into the finals of the cup, this would still be a rotated starting 11. I can hand on heart promise you that. So for this game, I believe it's the second leg, or the second round, I should say, of the cup. Let's see if we can get something from this. Come on, you Ars. Bamford picks the ball up here high up the pitch. You can see it is a pretty much starting 11. In fact, I think it is a starting 11 from Leeds United. Geldhart with a good effort. Jimmy Dunn steps in well, but it's going to go back to Geldhart. Jorginho Ruta finds the bottom corner very, very quickly. 8 minutes in and Leeds do take the lead. It's been a difficult one to start off with. We played some decent sort of passing it around, but then they just turned on like a quick press onto us, got the ball off us, and then kept the ball pretty comfortably. Geldhart with a good shot there, drops to the player. Geldhart with a fancy little flick through, and Mahoney can do nothing about the shot from Ruta. Finds the bottom corner, and it's 1-0 to Leeds very early on. Randall finds Paul Smith out wide here. Going to try and cut inside with Smith. Smith takes it past one, takes it past a second, and Paul Smith hits it wide of the post. It's a decent effort. It's a quick just run at the defence, and Paul Smith does that fantastically well, but he does hit it wide of the post. Clarkson, I don't think, had it covered, but sadly for us, it was just wide of the post. Ball out wide here from Bamford. He's going to find Drama, who I believe is ex-Birmingham. I don't know if he was on loan at Birmingham or what, but he definitely played for Birmingham, I believe, this season. But Ruta on the ball. Going to play it to Geldhart. Look at this. They're just knocking it around so nicely. Patrick Bamford makes it 2. It's too comfortable. It's too easy for Leeds, and it is 2-0. And you know what? It's very noticeable. I'm playing on Ultimate with a very, very much lower rated squad than we do normally. That is very, very noticeable. We're being pressed super quickly. My players aren't dealing with the press as well. The passing's not quite as fluid for us, but yeah, that is an easy finish there for Bamford. This is a real wake-up call already. Ultimate is absolutely turning it on against us, and it has only taken 20 minutes for Leeds to double their lead. Ball here with Smith, but Ampadu comes in with a fantastic tackle there. That's a really, really good tackle from the midfielder. Richards going to bring this ball forward now. Going to play it into Randall. Randall with players standing him up there. Voba is going to make a really good tackle in the middle of the park. Actually, apparently not a very good tackle. I thought it was a very good tackle in the middle of the park, but apparently it does draw the foul. Jimmy Dunn now into Richards. Richards, can he take it past one? He can. Runs into Dramer, but does keep hold of it. Oh, tried to play it inside there, but it's good defending. Paul Smith could have had a good chance for his second effort on goal, but it wasn't quite to be. Dremmer here with real good pace down the Leeds right-hand side. Finds Ruta. And Ruta does get stood up well there by Larketch, taking the ball off his fellow Frenchman. Dizel here is just going to burst forward. Going to try and bring this ball inside. Does so quite nicely now. Got a run here from Linden. He is going to find it. Linden is going to turn and find Randall. Randall tries to shoot. The defender gets in the way. It ends up going, I don't know where the ball was going. But Leeds again do defend it well. We've slowly sort of built into this game. But at 2-0 down, and it's just coming up to half-time, it doesn't look or feel like it's going to be enough so far. Oh, really nice ball in from Harrison. Bamford with the strike. Murphy, Mahoney with the save. It's going to be probably the last bit of action from the half here as Leeds whip the ball in there. It's not well defended. Mahoney gets a hand to it and we do eventually get it away. And that is going to be the first half whistle blown here. Again, with the cup not being my main priority, I'm not feeling overly inclined to make too many substitutions, especially this early in the game. But it does very much feel like we are up against it. Chaplin... My issue is if I bring Chaplin on, his, what's the word I'm looking for? His training plan will probably dictate he won't have enough stamina coming into the Wolves game. What I'm probably going to do is wait until like around the hour mark and then make changes. It could be too little too late at that point. It really very easily could be. But I don't want to risk bringing too many of my first team players or like players I would have the intention of maybe getting some form of game time against Wolves, not having the ability to do so because, again, the league is our priority right now. So second half, a lot of work to do. And I think it's going to take a miracle for us to get back into this one. Look at how well they're just starting against us here. Dramer, thankfully, does a bit too much. Larketch does enough to get the ball out. But, yeah, we have got a lot of work to do here, boys. Leeds with the ball here on the edge of the box. Really nice pass into Bamford, who comfortably makes it 3. We are well and truly being put to the sword by Leeds United today. And it's a difficult one. Hopefully, my main thought process here is we can come up against them in a week's time in the league and show them what we're about. That's I think, going to be the slight revenge for us here. But it is disappointing to be so thoroughly and comfortably beat. Whether I'm overly fussed about the cup or not, it's still not nice to get a loss like that. Yeah, it's not a nice one, but we're going to make a couple of changes. It's just coming up to the hour mark now. So we're going to take off Dizel and bring on Field. We're also going to bring on Andrews for Smith because I would quite like... Actually, I'm going to bring on Radu because Radu can probably play that right mid-role. He can. And then... I don't know who else to change here. I think Larketch has had a really difficult afternoon, so we'll bring on Doughty, and then I'm also going to bring on Andrew. It's quite a few changes. You know what? We'll take Linden off for Chaplin as well. It is a lot of changes, but hour mark. If we are going to get anything from this game, it's going to take something pretty drastic. So 5 changes, pretty drastic. See if it does anything for us. Bamford with the ball here. Cash in. Good step in there. Oh, it would have been nice for Andrews to have stuck a foot in a little bit, but it's played through. Geardhart makes it for 65 minutes, boys. And it is it's coming to that sort of embarrassing difficulty now. It's that embarrassing stage. 4 goals. And it's not good, is it? 4-0. Ball here to Radu. Radu is going to try and take it inside. Does so. Radu again. Can he take it past another? No, he can't. Llorente steps in really well. That is honestly the nearest to anything we've had this second half. Hopefully that gives you an indication as to how this game really has gone. The highlights are not just, oh, it's heavily Leeds. It's been all Leeds. Chaplin brings that ball down really nicely. There's a lovely run from Field, and he just doesn't play it nicely enough to play it through to him. And this could end up being even more problems for us as we yet again have another attack to defend against. And Drummer has just absolutely walked past us, but Andrew does well to get back in the end. And then gives it away. I have held down square for him to clear it, and he's just tapped it to Ruta. Mahoney with another save. Boys, this has been absolutely woeful. We are going to have to seriously wake up when we're using the sort of rotation team or the main team. We play like this against anyone, and we're going to concede a lot of goals. Chaplin's going to try and bring this ball forward here. He's going to see some help here from Andrew. Andrew is going to stop, plays a through ball. Randall looks up, finds Pedder. Pedder looks up and finds Radu. Radu tries the flare. I won't lie to you, I was asking for a Trivela, but he's played a little bit of something, a little bit of a spin. We're going to skip the celebrations, but it's nothing more than a consolation at the absolute death of the game. And yeah, it's 4-1, and that surely, referee, is going to be it. I don't really think we need to play the full 3 minutes, I'll be honest with you. But Ruddy does get his first goal for the club. Obviously, a player that's come through our youth system. And it's nice to see, again, these youngsters getting a bit of a chance, and also some of them making good of the chance as well. So I've got hiccups. But, yeah, I mean, come on, ref. We're into the 8th minute of added time. Just blow the bloody whistle, mate. It's 4-1. It's a bad defeat. The youngsters now have one less cup competition to be getting some minutes in. They will still have the FA Cup to try and get some chances, but we are very comfortably out of the Carabao Cup. Yeah, not a great game for us, boys. Well, it's disappointing to obviously go out and to get a loss anyway. It's always disappointing, but we have to put it behind us, and we have to look forward now to the game in the Premier League up against Wolves, who are currently in 13th. We are still in 3rd place, which is still absolutely mind-boggling. But with everything going up to Ultimate, I would expect things to get a lot more difficult. Obviously, we did win our first games on Ultimate, so that is worth bearing in mind. And we will be going back to our main team, but it's still going to be difficult. 4 days rest, and then we take on Wolves. And with nothing happening between the Cup game and the Wolves game, we're already there, ready to take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's a home game, so hopefully, again, we can get that home form well and truly in our favour. And you can see, obviously, back to the starting 11. Everyone's fully fit, fully ready to go. Some good form as well, so players looking pretty decent with it. But let's see if we can get an all-important 3 points in the league again. It'll be interesting to see if it's another 3-1. 4 3-1s in a row would be very interesting to see in the league, I should add. But a full-strength Wolves side as well with the predicted lineup that they've got out there. A pretty aggressive sort of 4-4-1-1 or 4-5-1, depending on how you want to look at it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can come away with something today. The hope is that we can, of course. I'd really like to think that we can pull something off here and get a nice win, get back to winning ways. Let's hope that we can do that. They're focusing a lot on Cunha. Maybe he is a big threat, playing just behind Guedes in their team. But come on, boys. Let's try and get back to some good form, get a win under our belt. Come on, you us. Bring the ball forward early here. Guedes is going to push that ball out wide here. Kenneth Powell with work to do. But Guedes plays it inside, finds Sarabia. Sarabia's also got options inside. Cunha is there with it, but Jake Clark-Salter with a really important win. Good bit of strength and then a good clearance, but it does come back to Guedes, and Labrovic equal to the shot with a really impressive save there down to his right-hand side, and he needed to get there too. But it is only cleared for a corner here, so Sarabia is going to play this one short to Pedro Neto. Neto going to try and drag it back. Ilias Chair doing a good job of sort of stopping him getting it straight in there, but Sarabia is there with acres of space. They're going to work it round. Guedes with another strike. Labrovic with another save. This time calmly collected, and we hopefully have a bit of a chance with the, possession ourselves here. Would be nice. Neto on the ball again here. Doughty, I tried to sort of jockey the run, but it's really well worked into the box. I've tried to jockey it, not jockeyed it well enough. Sarabia, or Neto I should say, got the ball in, finds Guedes, and that there is 1-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers, aka Portugal B. And it's disappointing. You can see that I've tried to sort of jockey, and I thought he was going to turn back on himself. He didn't. Kenneth Powell nowhere near it. Sarabia was pretty close. He even broke his chin on the post trying to get across to it, but Guedes makes it 1-0. It's an early-ish lead, 17 minutes in, and Wolverhampton Wanderers do take the lead, 1-0. Willock going to play it all the way across, but Chair is behind 2 players, and it's easily picked up by Wolves. We're just not doing enough on the ball, which is why you're probably not seeing many highlights of me on the ball. We're not creating anything. Great tackle here from Sam Field. Maybe this is a chance to do so. Brun Larsen is through. It's going to be just him because Armstrong's behind 2, and Brun Larsen with an absolute rocket into the top right-hand corner of the keeper's net, or the keeper's right. Doesn't matter. It's in the back of the net, boys. Brun Larsen with a fantastic strike. That is a beautiful finish. I was slowing down because Armstrong was potentially there for the sweat, but I thought, nah, Dawson or the other centre-back will get there first. And boy, am I glad we took the strike with Brun Larsen. It's a really, really nice shot. Just ever so slightly curling back in to the inside of that post there. Really good composed finish. And that is 1-1. Didn't take as long, boys, and we are back in it. Kenneth Powell going to try and bring this ball forward. We've got Ilias Chair ahead of him. Oh, but it's a heavy touch from Powell. And Diakite there is going to potentially bring that away now. Powell is still out of position because I've tried to bring Powell inside to do it. And I've given a lot of work here for the back line. Clark Salter, I'm going to try and keep Clark Salter back. Sarabia is going to bring it all the way in. Plays it to Cunha. Cunha. Oh, I'm very lucky. I'm kind of losing the ability to even speak about how I'm defending this because I'm just kind of pulling players away from the person on the ball to cover the players in the middle. Cunha with a strike and Labrovic again with a really good save. He really has stepped up to the plate in a position that I was worried about having to fill and improve upon. He's been so good, boys. He's been so good. Let's see if we can stop another potential threatening cross coming in. Sarabia whips it in there. Larsen this time doing his defensive duties, but it's clear to the edge of the box. Guedes with the ball now. Takes it past Oxford. Well stepped in there from Doughty to get back and help us bring that one away. But Larsen again on the ball. Going to have to look back and rotate this here. Doughty brings it forward. Oh, but runs into Pedro Neto. Neto balls across to Guedes. Reece Oxford. Really well done there. Good work indeed. And now we set Ilias Chair away. Can we then find him? We can. Ilias Chair turns as well. Very nice composed turn on the ball. Ilias Chair. Going to try and find Armstrong. Sinclair Armstrong makes it 2, boys. The first half turnaround is complete. We go from 1-0 down to 2-1 up just on the stroke of half-time, literally into the 46th minute. And it's a lovely finish as well. Good bringing the ball forward from the back. Really well done from Reece Oxford. Really calm and composed. Set away Ilias Chair. Ilias Chair, lovely little turn. Plays it through to Sinclair Armstrong, who stays on side and then finds the back of the net. Keeper, you could argue, could and or should have done a little bit better there, but he didn't. And the ball's in the back of the net. Very happy with that one indeed. And that should be half-time. It is. Oh, it's a really good time to score, boys. It's a really good time to get that lead, isn't it? It's a fantastic place in the game to secure it. So fingers crossed, second half, we can have a little bit more of the latter stages of what we were doing there. You can see the bench a little bit tired. Ozzy and Dunn particularly tired. Dazelle will probably come on at some point, probably for Hamer. And I'd like to see Paul Smith come on as well. But I think for now, keep things as it is. I've got no intention of really tweaking too much here. So Paul Smith, I think, will keep as sort of like a 60th minute sub. Give him half an hour to just run at that back line and cause some problems. Obviously, we've got Linden as well if we want to bring on somebody who can just hold that ball up a little bit. But both strikers on the score sheet is something you do love to see when you're running that 2-striker system because it does just do you a real good little confidence boost knowing both your strikers are fine in the back of the net. So it's lovely to see. But 2-1, obviously, still lots of work to do here as we start immediately on the back foot. Bueno going to try and play that in. In fact, does play it in. Kenneth Powell doesn't do the most amazing job to bring it away. Sarabia does a pretty good job of taking Ilias Chair off the ball there. And they're going to keep rotating it around. It's going to go to Cunha here. Cunha, close post. And just like we turned it around, Wolves do a pretty good job of getting themselves back into it just after half-time. And it's 2-2 now. The man that we were sort of being warned was going to be a threat has proven to be so. Both had a look at that there, by the way. Doughty and Oxford. I don't know why they stepped back there. We're running a pretty competent line at the edge of the box, and they both just step back, and it just puts Cunha on side. If they just stayed in line with the other defenders, I've given the ball away stupidly there, by the way, then Cunha has no time or space and would be comfortably offside. And again, Wolves bringing this ball forward now. And it could be, I was going to say, we pulled off a pretty quick turnaround. Could have been really bad for them to pull one straight back on us here. But Ilias Chair now running through. This is the kind of work on the counter I was talking about. And Brun Larsen, can he get it through? Gets past Dawson and plays it through the keeper's legs. Runs around the back of the net, arms up in the air, and absolutely well worked finish from the man there. That's a really, really good goal from kind of nothing, from another threatening chance from Wolves. We do take it down the other end and find the lead again for ourselves. Ilias Chair did really well. Brun Larsen holds off the defender fantastically well. Keeper tries to make himself big. Not big enough. Played through his legs. And just like that, boys, we are back in the lead. Oh, it has been a tricky old game so far, but Brun Larsen has done fantastically well today to find himself 2 goals. Really, really well done indeed. I think we're just coming up to that hour mark. We are, so let's make some changes. I'm going to keep Brun Larsen on, see if he can bag himself that hat trick. I'm going to take off Willock. Chair has been incredibly influential today, and I don't want to stop that. He's bagged himself 2 assists and has been very, very good. So I'm going to have him on stay wide. I'm going to have him getting behind and get into the box as well. So we have those sort of overlapping runs where somebody can get in there behind. And I'm going to play Dykes. I'm going to bring Linden on for Armstrong. Armstrong obviously scored a goal and has had a very good game as well, where he's had possession. We've not had too much of the ball, but my thought process here is if we can play it into Linden, Linden can just be another player to hold it up, to allow Smith to make a really quick run down that right-hand side, or to allow Brun Larsen to find a little bit of space for himself. So my thought for bringing Linden on is to just kind of offer an annoying sort of hold up physical threat at the other end of the pitch. That's my hope here, boys. So fingers crossed we can do that. And fingers crossed the other changes that are mainly for stamina, mainly for fitness and general rotation can come on and do something as well. But Paul Smith here, can we set Paul Smith away? I should have chipped it. How many times, boys, is it going to take for me to remember or just correctly do either chipped or to the foot through balls? And that there is perfect. That's exactly what I was talking about. We're bringing Lyndon Dykes on, and Ilias Chair gets on the end of a Paul Smith cross. That is not the first Paul Smith cross this season that we have found the back of the net with. Got one in the last episode against, I want to say it was against Chelsea with Sinclair Armstrong. But boys, that there is another really, really good cross from Paul Smith. It just goes to show yet again what he can offer this side. Comes on super impactful, and that is a fantastic finish as well from Ilias. It's one that's very difficult to get that on target, and he's done so well. Acrobatic finish to find the back of the net. Well done, Ilias Chair. And boys, it's 4-2, 2 goals in the lead now, and that is exactly what we needed. Dazelle picks up the ball in a really good spot there, and that there, by the way, was exactly what we wanted Linden for. Get that ball, play it through to Paul Smith, but I shouldn't have played the pass from Smith. But it does, just to show again that sort of plan of bring on Dykes and Smith, have Linden be the sort of hold up and allow Smith to make the runs and play it through to him, has definitely been impactful. So every now and again, I know what I'm talking about. But just there, boys, that is a 3rd goal for Wolves. 4-3, 7 goals in this game so far. It has been end to end, but it has been very difficult. I won't lie to you, boys. We are going to slow this game right down. I'm going to take my time. I'm not just going to pass it around the back, but I'm going to take my time getting the ball forward. I'll tell you that for free. Let's not throw this away. Paul Smith here, actually, with a little bit of space in front of him, cutting inside here. And Paul Smith, he's provided one. Oh, I was going to say, can he find one for himself? But not quite to be. Only a few minutes on the clock. I'll let you guys stay with me here as Sam Field with an incredible tackle there to win that ball. That's a really, really important tackle. And that very easily could be stopping them from making a chance at our end of the pitch, and gives us a chance to maybe make one of our own here as Paul Smith. I slowed it down too much, and Paul Smith was caught by Sarabia. Guedes now is going to bring this ball forward. Reece Oxford is the man to mark Guedes out wide, which is not what I want to see. But Jake Clark-Salter does fantastically well at getting back there and causing a problem. And could Brun Larsen find the hat-trick? No, it's a fantastic save from Bentley to deny the 3rd goal for Brun Larsen. We're going to put this ball in the box. Lyndon Dykes is going to try and climb up to it. It's going to get cleared, but only to the edge of the box. Can we get it back in there? We don't need to. 4-3. We made it very difficult for ourselves, but the 3 points at home are secured here after a very disappointing game in the Cup, conceding 4. We find 4 this time, and it's a very good result, and I'm very, very happy with that one. That could have gone terribly wrong, but we did well. 2 games in the episode so far, and we have seen 12 goals. I mean, if nothing else, it's entertaining stuff. Talking of which, yeah. I've got it on Ultimate. I don't know what more I can do, boys. I am very sure at some point the wheels are going to come off of this, and it's going to get a little bit hairy and a bit problematic. But we are currently in 2nd place. I don't know what to say. I'll see what leads. With another international break coming up after this game against Leeds, I just like seeing the players that are getting called up. Labrovic getting called up to Croatia is really sick. Linden off to Scotland, Sinclair and Jimmy off to Ireland, Ilias off to Morocco, and Brun Larsen being called up to Denmark. So we're getting some internationals in the side, boys. We've got 6 international players at the moment being called up to some games. Obviously, in real life, we've also got other players that do get called up, the likes of Ozzy, who does play for Sierra. He captains, in fact, Sierra Leone, my goat. But yeah, it's just, I find it really cool to see that. And we did have an offer for Armstrong that I've completely ignored. It was just from Lille for, I think it was £3.9 million. So Sinclair has been a very wanted man. Okay, taking on Leeds United again, second time in the episode, and I'm expecting a relatively similar lineup. From, again, the predictions, it should be Meslier back in goal, and they're predicting Pirou starting over Bamford, so a bit of a change for them. 11 different players for us. That's worth bearing in mind. We are going in with a completely different 11, our actual starting 11, in fact. But Brun Larsen, I'm very, very happy with his start to the season. He's on 9 goals, and they're talking about the fact that he could beat the 32 goal record that, as things stand, is the case for the Premier League. So time will tell, boys. Time will tell. Let's just hope and pray that we can play and perform better than we did against Leeds in the Cup. And again, my thought process is we should, because this is our actual starting 11 against their actual starting 11. But yeah, a couple of other changes there. Roca, I don't think, started in the Cup game. But yeah, let's see if we can take the game against Leeds in the Cup and just not let that happen. Come on, yours. Ilias Chair now. Look at the run here from Sinclair Armstrong. We're going to find him with Ilias's pass. And Chair, I was going to say, Chair is going to be just behind us to lay it back, and then a pass for Brun Larsen would have been fantastic. That little sort of interchange triangle would have been really, really nice, but it wasn't quite to be. Clark Salter steps in really well there. That could have been a good chance for Leeds. Willock found himself a little bit of space here on the right-hand side, but Ampadu's come across really well. I slowed down to sort of see if we had any more space created for us, but it wasn't to be. And actually now Leeds attacking us on the counter now. Let's see if Doughty gets back. He does. Really good job there from Doughty to get back and help out, because Reece Oxford keeps getting pulled out wide, which I'd rather not. I'd rather have him in the middle to defend headers, but also he's not very quick. So it's nice to have him central and staying relatively central, because he's not going to get back in there very quickly. Labrovic with a humongous save there. Really, really important stuff. It cannot be stated enough how good he has been for us. He really does just save us in a handful of games. Like, bear in mind, we conceded 3 against Wolves, and I would still have had him right up there as one of our men of the match. Like, he really was. He was incredible, and that there is a commentator's curse. I do that so often, don't I? I'll take responsibility for that. Ruta again scores against us first. He got the first goal in the Cup game, and he gets the first goal in the league game. 1-0 to Leeds at Ellen Road. And yeah, it's disappointing. It's just us not clearing our lines. I think it dropped to Field, and we just didn't get rid of it there. Field's taken a touch, and then it's just been brought down. He's just been able to finish it. Not really too much we could do about it, other than potentially just clearing our lines with the header initially a little bit better. Not sure who it was who won the header, but maybe just on that initial header, if we get that away more, maybe it's a bit easier to then defend. But it is what it is. It's 1-0. But for how long? Oh, I was going to say that it could be another quick equaliser like we did against Wolves, but it wasn't quite to be. But it's 1-0 to Leeds. Pirou plays it through here to Alberto Moreno, the left-back, who I think is onside. Plays it into Aronson, and it's 2-0. I said that some teams just match up well against us. Leeds is proving to be that team right now. I'm struggling to play against them. They just knock it around really quickly. They close us down pretty quickly. And it's just difficult. They commit players forward, but they actually cover the positions well. But Aronson finds the back of the net. The young, I want to say American, but Clark sort of just stops his run. And it's an open net for Aronson as we were bringing out Labrovic to try and close down the angle for Moreno. But Moreno very smartly and very just cleverly plays it through to Aronson instead. And it's 2-0 to Leeds now. Oh, it's a good attempt. Oh, I was going to say it's a good attempt of a tackle, but it's not. It's a yellow card and a foul and a penalty for Leeds United here. Jake Clark-Salter deemed to have fouled Pirou there. I thought he got the ball. I was literally saying good tackle, but you know what? He doesn't get the ball at all. He doesn't get the ball at all. I thought it was him that got the knock on it, and it went away from Harrison. But no, it was just that he missed the ball. But Piro's going to step up quickly. I think he's going to go right. He does. Labrovic with a very good save. Potentially a save that keeps us in the game for now, because 3-0 before the half-time would have been a very, very difficult thing to turn around. Good, strong play there from Ampadu. Just a little shove on Chair. No foul, but just enough to knock him off the pitch and get the possession back to Leeds. But yeah, this has been a really tough half, boys. It's been, again, just a team that is difficult for us to match up against. We've had that. We've spoken about it in previous episodes. And this is another really good example of it. Just the way that Leeds play, it's really difficult to defend against. And it's also pretty difficult to score against them, because they have scored, I was going to say 6 goals, and it is still 6 goals in a game and a half. And we've only scored 1 against them. So it goes to show maybe it just wasn't just the starting 11. Maybe it does just go to show Leeds are a bit of a bogey team for us, a team that we are struggling to score against. As the half-time break, it is 2-0, and it's probably a pretty fair outcome. We haven't, I think, had a shot on target yet. I don't think we've tested Melia. We haven't had a single shot, boys. Something has got to change. We have got to try something here. We're going to take off Chair, and we're going to bring on Paul Smith. I'm going to put Willock on the left. Set Smith's position to be a right winger. Come back on defense, stay wide. I know it's different to the thing, but I'm going to set him to that. Bryn Larson, Armstrong, I think it makes sense to keep them both on for now. I don't think there's anything else I want to change yet. I actually am tempted to take off Bryn Larson for Linden. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going with the same thought process and the same approach, and hoping that we can catch Alberto Moreno on one of his runs forward, and we can get the ball into Linden like this, and then have Smith find some space because we've got him on the stay wide. That's the hope. Is it ambitious? Yes, but we're gonna have to see if it works. It's a particular sort of process. We'll have to see if it pays off for us. 2-0 down, 45 to go. Come on, yours. Chris Willock here running down the left-hand side. Sinclair Armstrong running in front of him. I'd rather you cut inside there, in between the gap there that the defender left. We're going to play it back to Linden. I'm so stupid. The space in front of me there was open. I thought the player was going to continue with the run on Sinclair Armstrong, but for some reason he was willing to let Armstrong run through and decided to cut back and block the run of Linden, which didn't make sense unless I specifically passed it back, which I had no reason to. What an idiot. I'm so mad at myself. And it does mean now that they are through again here. Aronson going to try and play it in. Good step in from the book to Jake Clark's also. He probably will come off sooner rather than later. But Kenneth Powell plays it forward here to Sam Field. Sam Field, can he play a ball in? He can, but it's terrible. Hamer here, going to try and play it to Smith. This is the space I was talking about, the space that Moreno will leave when he pushes up the pitch, and he's done exactly that. Paul Smith gets the ball into the box, but Robin Koch, great name, gets a good block, and it does go for a corner. I've made some changes here, by the way. I have taken off Chris Willock, and I've brought on Chaplin. I've taken off Field for Dazelle, and Clark Salter for Jimmy, not for Jimmy Dunn, for Ozzy Kakai. So 3 pretty like-for-like changes here, but just to see if we can maybe cause something, get something from this. We're going to have to score very soon if we are going to get anything from this game, as it's still 2-0 with about 20 minutes on the clock. Hamer here going to try and bring this ball forward. Plays it into Linden. Linden Dykes now with the ball. Going to keep this with Linden. Linden's going to have a shot. It's a really good block there from Koch. Koch is going to, as well, just stop Armstrong from getting something. Hamer's going to play it in. It's another good block there, this time from Struick. And it's a really good defensive display from the centre-backs. It's been very difficult to have any chances. As you saw, we've had very limited chances indeed. And even when we have, it's not been Melier that's been tested. The defenders have done a good enough job to stop the keeper from even having to dirty his gloves. And that there is full time. It is a very disappointing defeat. And maybe we have found our kryptonite. We have found the team that we struggle against. And it could very well be Leeds United beating us 4-1 in the Cup and then 2-0 in the league. Very, very disappointing indeed. But again, in the grand scheme of things, we're in a fantastic position in the table, a position that we would not expect to be in. But coming up against, I think they're like 19th in the league. You'd like to think second against 19th. It's a pretty one-sided affair. It was anything but 2-0 to Leeds, and we leave Ellen Road for the second time this season with nothing. Always disappointing to end an episode on a down note, but it was inevitably going to happen at some point. We do drop to fourth with City overtaking us and Liverpool overtaking us as well. Just going to see what that did for Leeds. It takes them out of the bottom three, in fact. That really was a huge win for them. It takes them from 19th to 17th. That's a really good turn for them there. But we're not quite the halfway mark yet, but we are sort of at that third way through the season now. So teams sort of starting to make gaps and bridges between other teams, but Brighton down in bottom with 5 points, no wins so far this season. That's crazy, especially considering how well they are really forming in real life. And seeing them in last is crazy. So could be worth sort of paying attention to that, with Brighton having some very good potential players, thinking the likes of Matoma if he's still there, João Pedro, that sort of brand of player, Evan Ferguson, but I feel like he went elsewhere. But yeah, will be very interesting to see if that stays the same. But yeah, that is going to be where we round up today's episode in fourth place. I cannot complain with that. We're going to have a nice long break with the international break before the next games. So in the next episode, we'll be starting off with a derby against Fulham. So if you guys are excited for the next episode, please do a like on the video. It supports me, the video, the channel, and the series out a whole bunch. If you're new, hit the sub button and turn notifications on to be told every time we upload a video. If you want to check us out in our live streams, it's Hursty Games on Twitch. Link down below, along with my other social medias. Go check them out. Go show them some love. It's very much appreciated. But that, shit me. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you soon. Look after yourselves, and of course, wash your hands. Take care.